Yeah Yeah Beavis 1 is a potentially non-existent video game that was first mentioned in a June 1989 listing for mail-order video game service, Played It Again, in an issue of Video Games and Computer Entertainment. The theories about Yeah Yeah Beavis 1 include that it was a copyright placeholder, that it was an inside joke, or that it was a mistranslation for another game. One example would be the Noid. Yes, I'm serious. The fucking Noid. This is a short film about a happy-go-lucky Mickey Mouse going to Vietnam and instantly getting killed. It was lost for decades until it was found and ripped onto YouTube. Before, it was only showed in the Odd Film Festival screening and to Adam Savage and his associates. These frames of animation were also uncovered in Finding the Short. One of the first animated movies ever made is lost to history. It was a political comedy drama about Argentina's president. It was animated in a way not too dissimilar to that of South Park. This is sort of a follow-up to El Pastel by the same director, Corino Cristiani, and this one is about the United States' involvement in World War I. The movie was about the German captain that sunk the Lusitania. Little else is known about it, and it's speculated that all copies of the film are now lost to time. All three Raimi Spiderman movies have lost or deleted scenes. Some of it's available, some of it isn't. Some of these scenes completely change the context of the movie, while other scenes only slightly change the course of the movie. In 2010, McDonald's teamed up with eCrew Development Program to make a training program for McDonald's employees in Japan. It was made specifically for the Nintendo DS. It was only given to employees of McDonald's in Japan and required an individualized password to play. YouTuber Code 1038 bought the game and uploaded a playthrough, but did not dump the game online. Another YouTuber, Nick Robinson, would buy the game at a Yahoo auction, play through it, and then upload the game online. Famous for its rough development, Metroid Dread was initially planned for the Nintendo DS, but has just now been released for the Nintendo Switch. Needless to say, there has been past versions of the game that are now lost to time. The original game was going to be a 2D side-scrolling shooter, similar to that of Metroid Fusion. The goal was to instill dread into the player by having an unstoppable force chase them, much like the antagonist of the original Metroid Fusion. There is a prototype of the game out there. This early version has the same basic premise as the final one, with Samus trapped in an alien world, trying to survive against an unstoppable foe. As it's a sequel to Metroid Fusion, it presumably would have carried the plot point of Samus being on the run from the Galactic Federation. Unfortunately, this prototype has never been released. Help is a movie from director Richard Lester about a band that are trying to record a new album while trying to protect Star, with 2 R's, from a mad scientist and a cult who wants his rings. This cow milking scene is apparently completely lost. No one knows where the scene is, and only promotional stills exist of the scene today. The only evidence of the car chase scenes are from the trailer. They are also lost. This was an early version of Emperor's New Groove. The new protagonist, Paka, meets the Emperor, Manko, and they realize that they look alike, and swap their lives. Paka is then turned into a llama by Yzma, who wants to plunge the world into darkness for her youth. Manko must go back to the palace and stop her. Around 20% of the film was complete before Disney changed it for being too cliche. Some early animation has been found, but other than that, it is lost.
Oh, good. Nothing. Only one of royal descent bears the mark of the sun.
Oh wow, is that like a tattoo?
Hey, don't touch. It's a birthmark.
Oh, I've got one of those too, but mine sort of looks like a moon. See right there?
Yeah, I can't believe I look like a commoner.
And a llama herder looks like a prince.
The original ending to Freaks is so disturbing that it was cut. In general, Freaks was a very controversial film, with it being abandoned across the world and ruining the director's career. In the original ending, Hercules, the antagonist of the movie, was castrated and left in the rain to die. This original ending is now lost, likely for the same reason other movies of that time are now lost: aging. Many of the scenes were cut short, including small comedy bits. Other scenes include many of the cuts, including the relationship between the character Venus and Froso, and many cuts of the growing hatred between Venus and Hercules, which leads to near the end of the film where he attacks her with the intention to kill and fights Froso. Kappa Mikey is about a guy who gets invited to be in an anime. It was a loving satire of anime and was generally for children. The MTV pilot was more mature and had a different art style and animation style. It was lost for a while, but eventually it was uploaded to YouTube. A second pilot followed this pattern. Toon News was a series of interstitial shorts aired by Disney. A character named Smokey Silvers would pilot a blimp and give the news after a short comedic segment. Writer-director of Toon News, Kathy McDonald, uploaded the first 3 episodes of Toon News to YouTube and plans to upload more episodes in the future. YouTuber Kathy McDonald, possibly the same person with a second channel, or an entirely different person posing as the show's director, uploaded 3 more episodes, being the 4th and 5th episode of Season 1 and the 7th episode of Season 2. 20 episodes are still lost, only 6 episodes have been found. This is a SpongeBob episode about the Flying Dutchman taking SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward as members of his crew. They go around scaring people, and at the end of the episode, the Flying Dutchman grants them 3 wishes. Initially, there were 3 alternate endings. They were lost for a while, but they have been found. Patchy the Pirate also makes an appearance in the episode. The Patchy the Pirate segments are now lost. The video of the segments in other languages, like Spanish, have been found, but the English version is lost. This was a lost Beatles song that was deemed too avant-garde, even for Yoko Ono. It had frightening instruments, effects, and vocals. It was recorded, but the band members need to give their permission to release the song.
Wait, if you don't, if I can't, Sandy, wait a sec.
On May 23rd, 1999, professional wrestler Owen Hart fell from the rafters of the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri, during a pay-per-view taping of WWF Over the Edge 1999. The 24-meter fall caused severe damage to his chest, which would prove fatal. He died in the hospital soon after. This music video is lost in part due to R. Kelly's reputation and partly due to its overly sexual nature. It had a scene where R. Kelly said he would impregnate an unconscious Lady Gaga. Gaga said that she felt uncomfortable with the music video because of Kelly. Given the many allegations of pedophilia and sexual misconduct from R. Kelly, it's perhaps for the best that this music video stays lost, though there are snippets of the video available courtesy of TMZ. The original pilot to Psychic Pebble's web series Hellbenders is in a heavily unfinished state, but has very little differences with the finished product. There are a few scenes that are different, but it is essentially the same as the first episode. When Psychic Pebbles' website was deleted, the pilot was lost, but eventually a copy of the pilot would be uploaded to archive.org. There are 17 minutes that have been cut from Stanley Kubrick's magnum opus, 2001, A Space Odyssey. These scenes did not add much to the film, but they are not necessarily lost, just kept in a salt mine. Some of these scenes include some shots from the Dawn of Man sequence, and a new scene that was inserted where an ape pauses with the bone and is about to use it as a tool. The new scene was a low-angle shot of the monolith, done in order to portray and clarify the connection between the man-ape using the tool and the monolith. Some shots of Frank Poole jogging in the centrifuge were removed. An entire sequence of several shots in which Dave Bowman searches for the replacement antenna part in storage was also removed. A scene where Hal severs the radio connection between Discovery and Poole's pod before killing him was removed. This scene explains a line that stayed in the film in which Bowman addresses Hal on the subject. Finally, some shots of Poole's spacewalk before he was killed were removed.